Hello, everyone. It's easier to be on the other side than here, but I will try to do my best to present. So I am from Klaipėda, but you see the name of our museum, Mažosios Lietuvos Istorijos Muziejus. It means History Museum of Lithuania Minor. It's a historical region from 16th century. What we have, majority of the inhabitants in this region were Lithuanian origin. The kind of symbolic capital was Tilsit, Sovietski nowadays. So it's, I could tell a story about our history that is quite complicated, long, but now to the topic, challenges and perspectives of adapting the environment of Klaipėda Castle to tourism and recreation. So just to start, so Castle Museum belongs to the History Museum of Lithuania Minor as a part of it. The first exposition was opened in 2002. Here you see in the picture where it's located. Indeed, geographically it's near Kronian Lagoon, and on the other side is the river Dange. So very nice place from touristic point of view. And in 1252, in this place came Teutonic Order during the last wave of the Cross Wars, and they decided to build a castle. The first was wooden, after a year brick castle, and through centuries castle was, they had 5 main reconstructions. Here you see the view, like I think this photo is 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, made from above, and a bit another view. So what was done? The history is complicated because, well, as Klaipėda, as all Lithuania, have a lot of masters, or I don't know, people who govern there. So now you see that the castle have 5 towers. So this is the view what now we have from the 17th century after the last reconstructions. Okay, a bit more. Yeah, so it's just to imagine the place where it is. Indeed, what was left from the castle, you see these 2 bastions near the fossa, and another, but just destroyed bit by bit. Okay, so just a view, 1252, 3 islands. Number 1 probably was the wooden castle. After a year, brick castle, a model made. How it happened. So before the Teutonic Order came, there was Baltic tribe, Kuronians, Kurshi land. In the southern part of nowadays Klaipėda, there were settlements, and archaeologists they were investigating there. And but another tribes, Lietuviai, Lithuanians, and Žemaičiai, they were attacking and tried to push away the German knights, and so they were successful in 1379. So after they need to reconstruct the castle, and this is the model made by it. The last view what we have from the castle, from you see 1535. Okay. Then 16th, 17th century. It's copper engraving, and city plan. I should also mention when the knights came, Teutonic Order, first they built a castle, and bit by bit the town was growing close to the castle. So the earliest cultural layers are close to the castle, and when archaeologists were investigating, it were places that they need to dig 8 meters in depth to find the that place that there are no human traces. Okay, so decline of the castle. Also, I should say that Klaipėda region, this term just we have after the First World War, when the German with alliance failed the war, and it was kind of punished, and they take away this Klaipėda district, and they gave to govern to France. 3 years they were governed there, and exactly this year is 100 years that we are celebrating Klaipėda district, to joining to Lithuania. But now you see just some views, So it was in the German state, but for the German, it was no need this castle. It was the strategic importance after the mid of the 18th century. And now you see some photos of the biggest archaeological investigations. It was made in 2014 in the eastern part of the curtain. Now we have the Second World War Museum. They investigated first, and in 2018 it was open. So, and it was a big, huge, long job. Yeah, what to do with this castle, the remains, what it had, and then they have this, what the meaning it has for the town, because there were mainly no people what left after the Second World War, because all people saved their lives, moved or died in the war. So you see, how it looks like 2002, 2001. Maybe I can show you like this. This part is the earliest exposition, Prince Friedrich. And then on the left is Prince Karl. So next to the right, you see nowadays we have number 5 is Conference Hall, number 4 Museum 3945, number 3 Prince Friedrich Bastion, number 2 Prince Karl, and number 1 is our newest exposition called Kurtina. And now, exactly at the moment, the second stage is going on. The big tower, one of the 5, is under reconstruction. And the stage 3 is a plan to reconstruct all the castle of the 17th century, the last picture. Okay, and also some of the parts, ramparts, you see there in this small house. In the triangle, it's a model of the town, and you see the fossa, that it's a pier, and a harbor for the small ships. Here's not very clear pictures, I'm so sorry. So on the right side, what they did, they made a car parking place just for the future if everything is going according to the plan or wish. We have like all reconstructing the castle, so it will be easier to use this area for the later purposes. Yeah, this photo maybe from the last week. The big tower, it should be around 47 meters high, and it should be finished in 2024. So it will be a nice place for the tourists to go up by stairs or by lift, and to see the view from above, to Kronian Lagoon, to the sea, to the town. So it would be the 5th exposition in the Castle Museum. This is view to the Kronian Lagoon. Yeah, you see that metal construction is for the ship repairing company that was opened in 1919 and left. Now it's a place for the cultural events and everything. Yeah. Another part, this building, what you see there, is also a heritage already from the 19th century, and you see the tower. Yeah, this kind of. Okay. There it's a bridge, chain bridge, and it's it has a schedule, and it's moved to come the ships in Fossa. Okay, so what is the future? For the future and for this, because authentically, fortress, they didn't have parks and gardens, but in nowadays we can do join these functions, like as a fortress, a castle. Now we talk about the 17th century castle, But the plan is to restore the missing ramparts, restoration of all fossa, because now we have just half of it. And then to make in that fossa historical ship's harbor in the northern part. As well, there's a plan, cafe, greening of bastions, and also, maybe I will go back. Even nowadays, Klaipėda Castle is a part of the cultural life. I could say maybe even sometimes a center. We have every day birthday of the town, 1st of August, that people come here. We have events in museum. Also, people like to enjoy this area just in the leisure time, to climb on the bastions, to see the view, to meditate, to think, to come with the family, with the pets. Also, people who have events in the conference hall, they not so rare also come to museum and to know the history of this town, which is really specific in Lithuanian context. Yeah, and so it's kind of multifunctional, I think. It's not just a museum, but it's also a place to enjoy the nature, Kronian Lagoon, the river, and the environment itself. Also, we have some kind of open for, proposals, what it could be better there to be done. Because, it's just not just for scientific place, but it's also a place for the citizens of Klaipėda town, for all visitors who come from other towns from Lithuania, from neighborhood, tourists from abroad. And even now, the biggest group of tourists, they are German origin. They have some ancestors, or they come and they are really, emotionally tied. If you have relatives who lived in this area, like grandparents or parents sometimes. yeah, so it's really complicated kind of task, because as you see, we have just very small what was left from the castle. But the environment itself, it's really, we can invite people to come and to know deeper the history of this region, of this town, complexion, a lot of history waves and how the town survived. And also during the Second World War and after the Second World War, it was the experimental ship repair company, closed area. No people who lived in Soviet Klaipėda could come inside except the workers of the company. And people didn't know the story. They came from other villages or from Soviet countries, and they didn't know. And the Soviet ideology was strong, and people were reading what it was. Yeah, they need people to read and to know. So just now I'm going to the back more. But yeah, sorry. I'm not used to this. I'm so sorry. I will try to maybe this one. No, sorry. So I will go through again. And sorry. Okay. Yeah, so also you can see the environment. It's a Soviet building there. It's what was left after the Second World War. It's kind of very, you can see the history of the town and its complexity in architecture, in the place that it's located. And yeah, it's not so easy even, for to understand what the town was and what really the future is of what we want to see, what we want to put. But as you know, this main tendency to have this also include the experience of different nationalities, different countries, that they find the place or when they know the history, the cultures that they were here, because the Memel always was international town. So there you can meet synagogues and in different languages, Lutheran Church, Anglican Church, Catholic Church. So it's really rich history, and very as a port, ports always invites different nationalities and people with different experiences from Europe. That culture, Christianity, what brought there, and also, it's a nice place to speak about different past events, history, culture, nowadays experiences. And so I just who is welcome to experience the cultural environment, like I think all people who are, and you as well. You're always better to see than to hear. So and now I'm sorry, I just overlooked that I said everything what I wanted to say. Yeah, and of course, as museum, we made events and education programs inside of museum, outside of museum. So it's always overlapping. And of course, this environment helps to know the history, and also to invite people who are maybe not very interested in the history for the first purpose, but when they come and when they know, usually not all, of course, but they want to know more and to understand better the history, the culture, and in some point the lives of themselves as well as citizens of if I could say citizen of the town, or just people who are citizens of Europe, or I don't know, neighborhood, because they always have ties and relations. Yeah, so I think I am done. I am short, maybe. I know the questions are later on, yeah? So also what I want to mention, we are happy because in Klaipėda we have Klaipėda University, so the scientists who are researching. So now I brought the book. It's a collection of articles, historical sources. It was published, just a second, I will make sure not to make a mistake, 2019. So if you would like, you can take a look. It's in Lithuanian and in English. archaeological investigations, historical maps, plans, scientists of Klaipėda, of other towns. It's really a nice scientific book to get just to know a bit better, to look to the history of this town. Yeah, and of course you are very welcome to come to Klaipėda and to see the museum and the environment by yourselves and with friends and relatives. And yeah, so thank you for attention.